So I want to circle back to the Godfather movies. It follows the story of crime boss Vito Corleone as he comes to the US from Italy, and then it picks up with his son Michael becoming the new Godfather. The movies are amazing. If you haven't seen them, you definitely should. They are part of American movie history. They're often featured on, lists of the top 10 movies of all time. So I really, really recommend them. If you haven't seen them, chances are you've probably at least seen references to them. So for example, one of the most famous scenes that you've probably seen, parodied or referenced in other forms of media is the horsehead scene. So it starts off with this guy from Hollywood. He's in bed and then he wakes up and he just starts screaming because he's covered in blood. And he pulls back the covers to reveal his horse's severed head. It's really gruesome and really gory, but it gets referenced a lot in media. The scene was even name-checked after James Comey, the former director of the FBI, was fired.
Now, wow. A senior intelligence official said it's not just that they removed him, it's that they did it in the most thuggish and humiliating way possible. I think that was designed to send a message. Cut this out or this will happen to you. This is like horsehead in the bed. Yes. Wow. It's just like a horsehead in the bed. This is like The Godfather, only in this one, nobody respects the Don.
Even though the Godfather movies are super violent and rated R, references to them still show up in kids' movies, like Zootopia.
Mr. Big, sir, this is a simple mistake. This is a simple misunderstanding.
You come here unannounced on the day my daughter is to be married.
Well, actually, we were brought here against our will, so...
And Shark Tale.
What are you doing with this guy? He took out your own flesh and blood. Frankie!
But, Pop, just listen.
But nothing. You never take sides against a family, ever!
Now, because the Godfather movies are so popular and so iconic, they tend to get quoted a lot. One of the most famous quotes is, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse."
You look terrible. I want you to eat. I want you to rest well, and a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
It's too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
So in the movie, Don Corleone is basically saying he's going to give a Hollywood producer the choice between doing what the Godfather tells him to do or being killed. Another quote that you'll hear a lot is, "Don't ask me about my business." Now in the movie, this is a really sinister scene in that Michael is essentially threatening his wife about asking too many questions. But even still, it pops up in really lighthearted comedies like Modern Family.
Isn't that crazy how all of our kids' problems just disappeared?
Don't ever ask me about my business, Claire.
What are you talking about?
Don't ask me about my business.
I wasn't.
Good. Don't.
So you'll see references to The Godfather all over. There's a meme called the Baby Godfather meme. The Godfather shows up on t-shirts, coffee mugs, and even baby onesies. The way the union applied pressure to Mr. Burns in this episode was by holding a strike. Now, a strike is when employees refuse to work until conditions improve. Now, I'm not sure when you're watching this, but recently Amazon Prime Day has passed, and I kept hearing in the news how the warehouse in Minnesota was planning a strike in order to slow down all of the deliveries on Prime Day until Amazon is basically forced to improve the working conditions in their warehouses. Now, I saw a lot of tweets in support of the workers. A lot of people were saying things like boycott Amazon and don't cross picket lines. Now, that basically means that people outside of the company who don't work for them aren't supposed to, use their services or purchase any of their products while a strike is going on in order to help the workers really put pressure on the company to improve. There were a ton of news articles that were saying that this would be a huge win for workers' rights and that it would essentially show people how to take on Amazon and win. Despite all that, Amazon still made billions of dollars on Prime Day, and according to articles that I read after the strikes, it seems like not very many people participated, so I don't know if the warehouse strike really had any impact at all. Some recent strikes that did work, however, were the teachers' strikes. So in 2018 and 2019, teachers' unions across the country held strikes. Now, the strikes that I heard the most about were in West Virginia, California, and Wisconsin, but there were strikes in a lot of other states too. And the things that the teachers were striking for were protection for their pensions, smaller class sizes, and higher pay. Now, people against the strike would say that the teachers were just being selfish and that they were only hurting the kids by refusing to teach. But honestly, refusing to teach is really the only leverage that these teachers had to pressure school districts and states to improve working conditions. If you read any articles about teaching in the US now, a lot of them will say that many teachers have to work multiple jobs and really aren't being paid what they're worth. Recently, there's been a lot of talk about Walmart workers starting to unionize, which, if that happened, would make them the biggest union in the entire country. Because you've probably noticed that wherever you go, there's at least one Walmart there. It's a massively popular store. So the idea of them unionizing would give those workers a lot of power because there would be so many people in the union. Now, Walmart, like any big national corporation, has been trying really hard to discourage unionization. When they hire new employees, they have to watch a training video that disparages unions, and people in management are taught to contact headquarters if they hear their employees talking about unions at all. In Texas, butchers at one Walmart decided to join a union, and Walmart responded by closing the meat counters at all of their locations, not just the store that unionized, basically sending the message that if you join a union, we will just close you. So I don't know if the Walmart workers who support unionization are going to be successful in their efforts. I feel that in recent years, as there's been more of a progressive push in some sectors of the US, that we've seen more and more about unions. So like I said, I don't know if it's going to be successful, but if the Walmart workers, really band together and decide that this is something that they want to prioritize, even though it would be really difficult in the short term, and I think a lot of people would be fired initially by Walmart, it might actually work.